Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. Minus the music tonight, I want to say that we the crookest show and the coldest show in the country right now. But it is what it is, man. I got my man Donovan Sadiq in the building, the Queen Demetri K, and I am Frosty, the five-star general. So make sure you stay locked in here. I'm gonna dip out for just a second. But Donovan, what's going on, my friend?
Oh my goodness, you guys, welcome to the Monday edition of the War Zone. And sometimes in war, you have different regions of fighting. You have the cold Arctic, you have the desert, you have the tropical, and right now, we down in the South, you guys are fighting the cold winter down there. So cold snap is going across the South, and they said it's going to be there for a day or two. So you guys be prepared for that. But in the national news, as you guys know, President Trump was acquitted. Former President Trump was acquitted of charges. And now the question is, will the Republican Party survive? And they don't know. I mean, they're trying to say you have those that stood for democracy and greatness, and then you have those that were just, they didn't give a damn. So here they are. But real quick before I get into that, I am in the beautiful city of Palm Springs, 30 miles from my home, and enjoying this nice warm weather. And but basically, it's been pretty quiet on the news front as everybody's dealing. I guess they say 25 to 33 million people in the South are without power, and gonna get ugly. D?
Deanna has a word for you.
I don't appreciate that you were just talking about you in some warm weather. We all freezing our tits off. That's really rude.
And that was a word from my daughter, who is a little bit disgruntled. As you guys can see here, I'm not in my normal attire, if you will. I'm here in Houston. Houston, where tonight it'll be below 10 degrees. They said it'll feel like you're in, the polar bears, whatever. So anyway, yes. We have some sort of weird freak of nature weather going on here in Texas. They said it hasn't been this cold or snow like this or whatever since the 40s. And everyone's electricity keeps going in and out, mine's included. I just happen to have some right now, but it's very cold. And they said it's because the power companies weren't prepared for, to handle this. They said because normally people, they're more into their air conditioners in the South. Not really into the heat as much. And so when something like this happened, as it did today and yesterday, they weren't prepared. And so you still have millions of people who are out of any electricity at all. And if you guys know what it feels like, and a lot of you guys do live in different parts of the country, what it's like to be in 20, 19, 10, 5-degree weather, it's horrible. And it's even worse inside the house because it becomes like a freezer. And so, you're just stuck. And, and poor Gary, he's been in his car all day to stay warm because he hasn't had any electricity all day. And so we're going to get into this, whatever you want to call this. So Gary, what say you?
I know what to call it, some fuckery. Say, man, I'm just going to call it like it is, man. Man, I'm trying to figure out, like somebody said earlier on Facebook, down here in Houston, we can't put two things together, man. No ham, no burger, no peanut, no butter, no electricity, and no motherfucking water. Somebody know what the fuck going on, man. And the crazy part about it is, I really think it's a plot. Now, I'm going to be the conspiracy theorist with gentrification. Ain't no niggas gonna want to stay up in the hood after this shit. Y'all trying to run us out the hood. You don't want to turn the lights back on. Nothing. We at the mercy of Whataburger and motherfucking Sonic. Motherfucker went to Whataburger today. That motherfucking line was 3 miles long. But guess what my fat ass did? Stayed in that motherfucking line. And that's what it is. I'm just telling y'all, bro. And I'm be honest with y'all, on the real, Texas is fucked up right now. Houston is fucked up because everywhere else in the country, in the Clevelands, in the Minnesotas, they deal with this type of shit. I just come back from Minnesota, man. 7, 8 inches of snow on the ground. Ain't shit was out. Wasn't no electricity out. What the fuck is y'all doing down here? Y'all need to get with some of the motherfucking politicians, because there's some fly shit going on, man. But I'm gonna tell you now, there's certain things you don't need to do in this cold, man. Do not try to put the barbecue pits in the house. Somebody already got sick with that, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Moisture will lead to if you got a lot of moisture, I'm giving y'all some advice, because if you try to have sex and your gas skeet on you, your bitch ass gonna freeze up. I'm telling you right now what's gonna happen.
Things like this also too, though, it also shows the material that they use to build these $300,000, $400,000 homes that you guys got there. Because as Gary and me were talking before the show started, you've got some places that there is no insulation in regards to the cold. And I know you guys are in the South, but this brings up a serious question on the materials that they use to build homes and structures, because they should be able to withstand this. Because yeah, it's cold, but think about this. My house is a little older where I can throw wood and shit in there and burn it up. But now most homes, because of the greenhouse gases and all this other stuff, everything's electric. So, a lot of you guys can't even use your fireplaces for the simple fact that it can be used as a fireplace. It's a gas thing, and now your power is out, so you're really screwed. So, if you ain't got any power, you have no heat, you can't use the fireplace, you're pretty much screwed. So maybe they need to look at the construction codes and go back to it was pre-1980.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. That you finding out if you poor people and you living in these low-income housing projects, these apartment complexes, and you freezing your ass off right now, them houses not insulated right, man. They not insulated right. I'm telling you, you gonna know, man. You might as well come stand outside, bro. Because if you stay in the house, it feel like it's colder in the house. That means your home is not insulated right. And this all these people making all this money on building. You know how fast they build these apartment complexes for these poor people. So if you could take that barbecue pit now, as quick as they built that bitch, you gonna watch that motherfucker burn down tonight. I'm telling you, because ain't nothing but plywood. They ain't nothing but plywood. And I think they need to go back and just like you said, they need to do some research, which shouldn't take them 3 or 4 years to do, and figure out. But Houston is, you make me sick, because we ain't never prepared for shit in the city of Houston. You can't deal with a fucking flood. You can't deal with a hurricane. Now, motherfucker throw an ice cube on the ground, everything froze around this bitch now. It don't make no sense where we at right now in the city of Houston. And y'all out there with your favorite politicians that ain't doing shit, they the motherfucking reason it's like this.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Real quick, Demetri. Remember when I was upgrading my house, I took off all of the siding on my house, and I found that the builder or the contractor, whoever it was, he put insulation in every other slot to save costs. So, a lot of you people need to go and look at your homes and how they're built, and I'm almost guarantee you they cut corners. They cut corners.
And so, I just want to speak to a few things. And if you guys could do us a favor and share this live, I forgot to ask y'all, under the circumstances. But so I think, especially in this situation, regardless of what kind of insulation you have, it's still cold, And I was having this conversation with Al earlier, and I said, as much as we complain, I'm just talking about us in general, right? As much as we complain about even this situation, at least we are cold in the house. And I know Gary's cold, but he's in the car. But there's people, especially like in Tulsa, they found a homeless man frozen solid to death. Frozen solid to death. And so it's just really a reminder of how, humbling this is, because at least we can be inside somewhere, but there's people who aren't inside. And Gary, it saddens me to think that there are some people that will light a barbecue pit inside the house, because it's cold. It hurts. It's like, I haven't been this cold probably ever. You know what I mean? Being from Southern California. And so there are people who, if they had a gas stove, they will light the oven. You like, what do you know, I listened to Linda Hidalgo, I think that's how you say her name. She was giving a press conference, and, you know, she was saying, you know, I know there's no easy way to say this, but it's going to be cold and it's going to get worse. And so it's like, you're asking people to do what? You're asking people to endure being like, not this cold, like, ooh, I can use a blanket, but freezing. You're asking people to endure that. But I guarantee you, those people that were standing up there at that podium, they're not enduring that. And all because of what you know, they say the power and the state, the companies, they need to figure out how to get more power. It's just a mess. But you have people who are literally freezing. People's food, well, your food might not be going bad because, you know, it'll stay, but there's some people who are probably going to lose their lives simply because they're just trying to stay warm. And so this is a mess. And I agree with Gary. We need to think about the people we vote for. Because, like, how do you not? I'm in public relations, and we have a thing called foreseeability. It's a legal term, too. You're supposed to foresee things that may be an issue. Now, if you haven't upgraded your power grid in forever, at one point in time, something like this is going to happen. But Gary said it earlier, we were talking, he's been in Minnesota, places that are way colder than this, and they don't have this issue. So Houston has a problem.
Houston has a problem because the reason they've not updated the power grid is because they don't want to follow federal law. This is why they have not upgraded them power grids. So I look at Hidalgo saying endure, but ma'am, wherever you located, they done fixed you a nice little cot. You got a motherfucking pillow. You got some chocolate, hot chocolate. You got food in there. Same thing with the mail. You locked and loaded, homie. We out here, get it how we live. You feel what I'm saying? And that's not right. And you people that keep voting these suckers in there, whether they Republican or Democrat right now, you keep voting these fucking people in there, and every time you look up, something happen, and we got to endure. How the fuck you let somebody die frozen in a fucking car? I'm gonna tell you like this here. I'm coming to your church. If your motherfucking church ain't open in the hood right now, I don't give a fuck if you got lights or not. Your goddamn church need to be open to get these people off the streets. And if you ain't did that, I'm coming to your shit, man. I'm coming. All you suckers out there, and I'm not talking about y'all good people. Y'all people that can make the decision, y'all need to start making better decisions. Where the fuck is the county commissioner right now? We ain't heard a motherfucking thing for him. And I'm just being real about it. It makes no fucking sense that every time you look up, the city of Houston is not prepared for shit. You have the world's best medical facility. You ain't never come up with a cure for shit. You the world's biggest energy provider. Where the fuck is your energy at today? Got us around here like Frosty the motherfucking snowman or something, bitch. Y'all need to get on y'all job, man.
And now I have a question. Like here in Southern California, we have a water board, and these are elected positions. Is that the same down there in Houston, where you guys have like private energy companies that actually control what is going on? And if you have a private energy company, they have to be accountable to somebody, because remember, D, like out here, there is a reasonable amount of time that the power can be out. And those guys need to be out there working. So
listen, out here, they, you know, because to Donovan's point, you know, I'm from Southern California, just new to Houston a couple of months. At least they do give you notifications. They'll say, hey, we're working on it. You know, the power will be up in, you know, about an hour. So they give you like what's going on. But here it's just like, okay, what the hell is going on? Are they working on it? You know, why is it out? But it's a mess. And I honestly don't understand it. But see, they know they can do this to certain people. And I know a lot of people, I'm not saying this is about a race thing, but who's going to hold them accountable for, you know, people's lights and the electricity being out? And they said this is going to probably happen, you know, through Tuesday. It's effing cold. And, you know, I know it's tough. Just hang in there. Are you serious? What about somebody who's got a newborn baby? They're supposed to just hang in there? Like, no, do something. And, you know, by the grace of God, our electricity keeps coming in and out, you know, but who's to say it's going to hold? I'm an adult. I guess I'll have to make do. You know, I'm not crazy. But there's a lot of people who don't have other alternatives like I was going to do what Gary do. We're going to go out in the car and just turn on the heat because it is cold. It's cold inside the house. It's like an ice box. So, but, you know, they just need to be held accountable. You know, they forget their lip service. Oh, just hang in there. Oh, we're working. It should have never gotten to this point. For God's sakes, people just turn their thermostat up a little bit, and all of a sudden, you know, you can't handle it. It's bullshit.
Yeah, remember back in the day, we used to have rolling blackouts here in California, and then California just decided to use the solar energy and wind energy and use the alternative energy, and that really basically stopped a lot of our rolling blackouts and stuff like that. So do you think Houston might want to pivot and look at like solar power and having their own energy, so when the power does go out, you guys are going to have your own power source within your house that you store from the sun?
I think we need to look at these devils who don't have a problem with this right now. They sitting in a corner and they doing the bounce that ass. Them devils ain't cold right now, man. These motherfuckers want to make money. They don't want to deal with federal guidelines. You feel what I'm saying? They don't want to have to do that. They don't want to have to change things. They make more money doing shit the way that they do it. And we suffer. Man, do you know how many senior citizens are dealing with this here? Did you see the story about the 89-year-old lady? They cut her fucking gas off. Is you fucking people crazy? There's no justification for that. But I'm going to tell you, we need to look into something. But what we need to look into is these motherfuckers that's running for office. Look into their motherfucking asses. And get these motherfuckers up out these offices because they can't seem to make a motherfucking executive decision.
Has anybody seen any of the power workers running around trying to get everything back up to speed or anything? Or are they just like, screw it too?
Local power company didn't do this. The state of Texas did this by trying to, cut this shit off, let it come back on every 15 minutes. They went and fucked up the whole state of Texas. So realistically, I got people on the inside of Center Point that's hitting me back and forth. They like, man, we just sitting here with our motherfucking hands tied because we can't do nothing because we didn't do it. You ain't got no breakers off. You ain't got no motherfucking transformers that them blew up. The state of Texas did this here. And that motherfucker down there in that wheelchair that's running the state of Texas, somebody need to put some glue on his ass and shut his motherfucking ass down one of these iced up motherfucking roads.
Yeah, I mean, and it is on the state. You know, they keep talking about, oh, you know, we got to try to work because the power grids can't handle it. And in the meantime, try to conserve energy, keep your house at 65, 68. It's like, well, you can't even do that because it ain't on. Like, give people a shot. I mean, it's just like I've been in some crazy situations before. And I guess a lot of me speaking is out of frustration because I just don't understand that. I could see, a major disaster happen or something, but this is just, it's just beyond me. And like I said, I'll make do. My family will make do. But what about people who can't do that? The senior citizens and, the babies. And like Gary said, there should not be a church empty. And I see Joel Osteen, he finally relented and opened up the church, but there shouldn't be an empty church tonight. Now, I don't know. Hopefully the churches have opened up and let people come in there if they have power or not. But if your church is empty tonight for whatever reason, then you need to rethink about the church you go to and the church you give your money to. Because the church,
that motherfucker empty tonight, I'm gonna empty that bitch Sunday.
And the church is for the people. The church means the people. So if it's not helping the people, then what is it for? Are you really just giving your money so the pastor could be riding high and dressed nice and all of that? It just, like I said, I'm not stupid. I've seen some things in my life, but certain things just blow me away. And this is not on the people. This is on the elected failed leadership, and they get up there and tell you, oh, you know, just endure it. This too shall pass. Oh, you know, and you really just want to say F you, you know?
This modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, which is Houston, Texas, God is not happy with Houston, Texas. Every time you look up, something is happening in this town, man, from a natural disaster standpoint. How in the fuck, just because a cold spell comes through, a cold spell that people on the other side of the country and up north in the country deal with on a daily basis when it's wintertime? Why didn't you study that? Why didn't you do worst case scenario in case this ever happens? Man, you have put everybody's fucking life in danger in the state of Texas. And we thinking about our leadership. Say, man, this a no-brainer for me, bro. You bitches gonna get the business when it's time to run for office, man. Because you can't come up with no more excuses on this here, man. This is ridiculous, dude. This is fucking ridiculous that we gotta sit here and deal with this type of shit. But yet we pay all this money. Oh, it ain't the mayor's fault. Got enough influence for everything else. Oh, it ain't the county judge's fault. Yes, it is. She's inexperienced. She don't know how to deal with shit that come across her plate. And this is just, I've never seen no shit like this here in all my years. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Houston is fucked up, been fucked up for a minute. But in the last 8 to 10 years, with the leadership that we have had, we have seen some fucked up shit in this city, man. We have seen some fucked up shit in this city, and I'm just at a point, fuck these people.
Do you think, do you think this is as bad as the beginning of Harvey, when Harvey first started, Gary?
Harvey was horrible. They were not prepared for Harvey. They were not prepared for the Memorial Day flood. After Harvey, they hadn't done anything different. You see what I'm saying? So whether you white or black, you just gonna have to accept the fact our leadership is fucked up, man. Our leadership is fucked up. And now do the kids go back to school Wednesday? You're crazy as fuck if you send your kids in them schools, man. Them schools need to be thoroughly cleaned after this shit. They need to be thoroughly cleaned after this shit. But then you putting people's lives in danger to go in there and clean them motherfuckers. I'm just tonight. I mean, I'm trying to be nice, but the leadership in the city of Houston has always been suspect. And right now we're seeing the byproduct of putting the wrong people in office.
Amen to that, because what I don't understand here in California, that storm that you guys got hit us first. And unfortunately, it wasn't freezing rain, but it did a lot of minor damage here in Southern California. And it isn't like they didn't know. We have satellites. We have the hurricane hunters right there in Biloxi, Mississippi, that was telling you the intensity of the storm. You got all the information. And I just don't understand how leadership, like you just said, could not be prepared for this. Generators, backup generators. I mean, you have all of these resources. FEMA is right, could have been utilized, and yet it wasn't utilized in a situation like this because it hit California. Even though it was mostly rain, we got a lot of snow, which all the snowboarders loved it. But, by the time it got to you guys, that was 2 or 3 days out. So to be unprepared, to me, is like, I just don't understand. How could you not be prepared?
You battling the COVID, and that deals with your immune system. We got to make sure our immune systems are strong. But how do you battle the COVID when you sleeping in a house that ain't got no electricity, no heat, no nothing? The COVID numbers finna go through the roof unless they pad them motherfuckers again. So, if you wanted to pass out something in the last 3 to 4 or 5 days, y'all got enough money to go buy some motherfucking generators and pass the motherfuckers out. You needed to do something, but they didn't do anything but sit on their fucking hands. And this is why Hidalgo can jump on the TV every 1 to 2 fucking hours, because wherever she's sitting at, she good. She is good.
Now think about this. And this just popped in my mind too. By them being inactive or not doing as much as they could, do you think that they are trying to initiate federal dollars by declaring an emergency so they can get federal funding
Well,
to
it wouldn't
fix.
be nothing new. It wouldn't be nothing new to us. They use every catastrophe to get billions of fucking dollars, and they don't do shit with it. You know, when Harvey hit, they got billions. They fixed 13 motherfucking houses in a 3-year span with the money. Till the governor came through, told them, fuck, I'm gonna take it back. Then they want to act like the governor fucking over us. Bitch, you had the money for 3 years. You still got people's houses that ain't fixed. So I can only imagine what they are going through right now because their house was already tore the fuck up. And now they gotta live in this shit for damn near 3 days. This is inhumane, man.
Exactly. It's very inhumane. And then, you know, don't forget, we got the coronavirus still going on. You know, and in a place like Texas, the governor just said after coronavirus, if you die, you die. You know, go out there and make it do what it do. And somebody made a good point. It was a tweet, and it says, why aren't we out there? You know, why are they closing the economy? Because it's snow and it's freezing rain and it's black ice. Let's get out there and risk life and limb. And they were basically making a joke about it, saying that's what you guys did with the coronavirus. You tell everybody, just go out in there. We can't close the economy. Go risk life and death to go out there and keep the economy open. They're like, so what's the difference? Why are you shutting down the economy now? So it's like on one hand, we don't want to shut the economy down for the coronavirus, which if you ask me, is deadlier. But yet you're shutting shit down, you know, because there's ice on the ground and they should. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but Texas, you know, just moving here, I'm like, this is some bullshit. It almost makes me want to go back to California, where it's some bullshit too, but it ain't this much bullshit going on.
We are governed by some of the worst in the country, man. We're governed by some of the worst in the country. And I totally agree with you on your assessment. You want to keep the economy open, but a little ice coming through, you want to shut the economy down. Yeah, it makes no sense. Realistically, man, I'm going to just say this here, and I don't want to offend anybody, but we got a bunch of retarded motherfuckers making the decisions right now. A bunch of special ed motherfuckers. I know some special ed kids that can make better decisions than these motherfuckers right now. I'm being honest with you, because this don't make no sense. You knew this was going to happen. But you know, some days we get weather forecasts that ain't accurate. They say shit gonna be fucked up and nothing never happens. See, they play the law of average too much down here. They play the law of average too much. And the sad part is, a lot of these people, you know, gotta run for office in 2022. They gonna come to our neighborhoods and they gonna preach their sermons. And how could you people vote for these people again? And then in 2024, come on, dog. How could you people even think about voting for these people again? And we keep dealing with this. But I'm just telling y'all, good Christians out there, God is not happy with Harris County. I don't care what y'all tell me. It's too much that's been happening here, like every year, every 2 years. God is not happy with Harris County.
So, you know, so let's pivot to this. Now that we know all this stuff is going on, all this bullshit is happening, especially right down there in you guys' area where you guys pay all of this exorbitant taxes and, you know, and the bullshit you guys go through, all the churches on every block and all this other stuff. What can we do different to be ready for better days and just do things better?
Well, Alan Guillory asked a good question. That kind of lines me up to answer your question. 5-star, who would you rather, Hidalgo or Ed Emmett? Ed Emmett all day long. He was experienced. He knew what he was doing. We gotta have the right people in place to make the decisions that need to be made. And I don't have nothing personal against the county judge. I just feels like she don't have the experience that is needed to deal with some of the things that we are dealing with, to prepare for some of the things that we need to prepare for. This is ridiculous. And I think that's right where it starts, Donovan.
Yeah, so I mean, I like I said, it's baffling to me, just the whole thing, and I really do feel sorry for people who aren't as are able to weather this. You know, because people, I've had people from California, my whole family, except for my brother Walter. If y'all see him, tell him I'm looking for him. everybody called me and say, are you okay? Do you have power? Is it cold? You know, is it snowing? And I'm like, yes, I'm fine. You know, but what about the people, you know, that don't have anything? I mean, that's just really where I'm at right now. You know, worried about people who need a place to stay, you know, who are not as able to, you know, weather the storm. And so I guess where I was going with that is, so if you're on the outside looking in, you're like, oh, it's just cold. You guys just don't have any power. No, it's more than that. You know, you got some people whose water is not working because the pipes are frozen. And that's the case with, you know, half of my house. The pipes are frozen, you know? And so it's more to it just being cold. Like it's, you know, freezing, below freezing in some areas. And so you're asking people to endure. And then they're telling you, oh, well, be careful of hypothermia. Because, you know, that's a thing. And it freezing to death, that's a thing. And so it's like, how are you supposed to endure that? It's stressful.
You know, the funny thing is when I was stationed in Alaska, you know, and I know Alaska is totally different than being down here, but you would think the simple things that these people would know how to do. If there's a cold snap coming through, usually the city would tell you to run your water and make it drip so that it doesn't freeze. That would help it from not freezing up. They'll give you all of these tips to do that.
I did that. It still froze.
Yeah, you probably didn't make it drip enough. But the thing is, good things like that.
I ain't have a high ass water bill either.
well, check this out. I was in Alaska, and this is a true story. Like I said, we have a lot of homeless people out here in the United States now. That's a epidemic, homeless people. When I first got stationed in Alaska, you had the Native Indians that were there, and what they would do, they'd be at the bars partying and stuff, and then they would fall out and pass out, right? Come springtime, you would find these guys stiff that have been in the winter banks for like 9 months, because in Alaska, it's 9 months of winter. And you'd see these people just being pulled out of there. So in Houston, have they made preparation for the homeless as well?
They did a few things, but, you know, until they just say, you ain't never dropped the top on, we got drop top stadiums. You got more than enough drop top stadiums. Fill the motherfucking stadiums up. You got somewhere you could put them, but they ain't gonna do that. That's too much like I've been telling people, what should we do with the Astrodome? It's just an eyesore. Either turn that bitch into the world's biggest casino or the world's biggest homeless shelter. That's all you need to do. We always got some shit going on down here. And every time you look up, we ain't got nowhere to go. They're not giving us the information in time. And the information they're giving us, they're only giving us half of it. See, I get it with y'all with the information. Information is on a need-to-know basis. And you feel some of us don't need to know the information. That's all it boils down to. I mean, it's not hard to figure this thing out, but I know that they went to, I'm not going to say to the extreme, but they did do something for the homeless population, passed out blankets and different things. That's not good enough. They opened up the George R. Brown, which is a convention center. So if you can open up the George R. Brown, which is a fucking convention center, you have multiple hotels downtown that are basically empty. Why you just didn't let them go in there? I don't know.
They call them, you know, warming centers. They got warming centers. They turned Lakewood into a warming center. So, you know, they're doing something, but it really shouldn't have gotten to this point. But I want to say this to us as Black people. We are always on the receiving end of the worst of every situation, right? So I know people, and I see Jalen on here. She's saying that they wanted her to go to work and volunteer to open up the store.
My baby ain't going to work.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, you know, but it's like there are some people whose jobs have asked them to come in and they know common sense should rule, right? Like, well, I should go in and earn this money. However, it's deadly out. Like we tried to drive to the gas station and it was hard. You know, people are still, and we were going slow because it's icy roads. And so there's some people who just simply can't say, screw you, I'm not coming, because they might not have a job behind some retaliation or whatever. But the point that I'm making is we as Black people got to this is not an admonition to Jalen and all, I'm just saying in general, we as Black people got to get from behind the 8 ball when something happens, it affects us the most. Like in every single situation, whether it's a storm, whether it's a pandemic, a virus, whatever it is, we're like always affected the most. We are predominantly in the service industries, and the jobs that are still left, these motherfuckers are expecting us to go back to work, you know, and work in these warehouses or these restaurants or these grocery stores or whatever, so that everybody else can come in there and spur the economy. But they don't care if you lose your life trying to get to work for a minimum wage or a little bit more than minimum wage job. So the point that I'm making is we need to get our stuff together economically, like really think about these things, you know, because I'm in Texas and I just learned the minimum wage is $7.25. And I'm like, who in the hell? That is $58 a day. Do you know what I can do to make $58 a day? But there's some people who just feel like, and I'm not knocking that. So don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking that at all. But these major corporations fully expect for you to take your black ass to work for $7.25 an hour, $58 a day, and probably $50 to $45 after taxes get a hold of you. So you went and give these people 8 hours for $45 to $50, and you know you're considered an essential worker. You need to go and help get the goddamn store open. Hey, fuck them. Excuse my French, but that's where I'm at today.
We got bigger issues, and I'm gonna tell you, we got another issue. So the city is basically shut down. You can't really move around. That means law enforcement, you know, it's hard for them to move around. The young gladiators finna get loose tonight. Every time I say that, that's what happens. You got these people stuck in the house. I'm telling y'all what's finna happen. Stuck in the house, no way to cook food, nothing, and you think these youngsters finna sit quiet? Say, man, if you're at home, stay at home, keep your pistol cocked, because them young gladiators finna get loose tonight, man. And you fast food restaurants balling out the gym thinking motherfucker won't put that pistol in your face in that motherfucking drive-through window, keep playing them games. They gonna show y'all tonight, man. It's going down tonight. That's all I can tell you. They got issues here, man. And I don't get it. I just don't get it. Some of these people are just bona fide devils with the positions they hold, with the lies they tell. You know, just tell the fucking truth. I can take some fucked up truth, but I can't take no bullshit lie. And right now, we just need some fucked up truth. How long is this shit gonna really go on? Because Wednesday night, you're supposed to have another storm come through this motherfucker. So how long is this gonna go on? If you think these youngsters gonna sit back for 4-5 days and deal with this shit, you crazy as hell.
You know, and I'm sorry, just real quick. You guys know that I'm an animal lover, and if it is as cold as you guys say, I don't know why people think because these animals have fur on them that you leave them outside. Pull the animals inside and give them a chance, because I get tired of seeing these frozen ass cats and dogs. And I mean, if it's that cold, the animals need to come inside as well.
It's a violation of the law to have your animals out in this type of weather. So I know they've been out giving out citations today because of that. Some people have gotten tickets, and it's just inhumane to have your dog or your cat, or, you know, some of y'all got billy goats in your yard. Welcome the motherfucker to the front room. Put all your billy goats in the front. Y'all got chickens running around because y'all living out in the country, you know, out there in Arcola, where all the chickens and the billy goats need to be in your fucking front room.
No, actually, I mean, that's a good point. You know, people should bring their animals inside. I mean, nothing can survive out there. I mean, hell, they even tell you to cover up your trees. I mean, you know, certain trees, they need to have a cover on them, because the cold, you know, the snow and all that is going to destroy them. And so, yeah, I mean, you know, you just, you know, do what you can. But Gary, you made a good point. How long is this really going to last? I mean, think about something like Katrina. They didn't think that was going to go as long as it did, you know, because they were just completely unaware. But we listen to our government. They get on TV, you know, say, oh, this too shall pass. It's just going to be a day or so. Then, you know, things will get back to normal. And it's like, really? Is that the way it's supposed to work? And unfortunately, though, we believe it. And then we get stuck and caught, without options. And so I don't know. I don't want to seem like I'm complaining because I'm not. I'm just really.
I am.
I try not to do that, Gary, because earlier I was. Like I said, I had a conversation. We had an hour speaking, and it's like there's people who got it.
When should I pick you up at the airport?
Tomorrow at 7 p.m. My plane. No,
you must got a cold ass plane because they just shut both the airports down.
We know that. No, but seriously, there's people that have it worse. There's some people who, they just don't have anywhere to go. They don't have anybody to take them in, and it's horrible. So I try not to complain because I try to think about other people who are in a worse situation, and I'm more frustrated for them than myself. I got a lot of meat on my bones, so I'm gonna be all right for a little bit. But there's people who just don't, they don't have a way out.
Well, I'm a selfish motherfucker because I've been hibernating in my motherfucking car all day. They need to fix this shit because I can't handle it. And I'm way big. I'm 4 times bigger than you. And this shit got my motherfucking bones cracking right now. So they need to fix this, not just for Gary Monroe, but for every motherfucker in the city of Houston. Black, white, whatever. I just feel they need to come with the truth. You need to tell us how long we gonna be dealing with this shit. And realistically, they have a number in their head, but they don't want to panic everybody. I mean, shit. And for those of y'all that feel, I'm going to lose my food. No, you ain't. Put your shit right outside your door. It'll stay cold. You want some cold water? You ain't got no water? You just got it in jugs? Man, put you one of them jugs outside for about 15 minutes. You going to think you've been at the fucking fitness club and you've been working out for 7 hours when you drink that cold ass water. This shit is serious, man. And I love Texas. I love Houston. But this is what makes me want to get the fuck up out of here. Because these people are not representing us the right way. They know how long this shit damn near gonna last. You got another storm coming through Wednesday. Fuck, man. House full of motherfucking food and you can't cook it. Shit, watch me tomorrow. I'm going to show you better than I can tell you.
Well, Jalen just says they aren't going to fix shit after this is over, just like they promised to fix the sewer system to withstand flooding. It still floods like hell. And this is what we're talking about. At the end of the day, somebody needs to go and tell these politicians and these municipalities they got to get their shit together because you guys can't keep going through this year after year after year and money being diverted and nothing getting done. My mom lives in a no flood zone. And when Katrina happened, that whole area flooded. And then the insurance companies don't want to pay because she wasn't in a flood zone.
Yeah. I saw a comment I wanted to address. Tanaya, how you doing tonight? You say y'all will be okay. We as Black people have faced adversities before. Yeah, no doubt we'll be okay. But there's some who are not be okay. Like a lot of older people, and babies, they won't be okay. But this is my thing too, Tanaya. Why do we have to keep enduring adversities? I know the answer to that to some degree, but Black people are always expected to be tough and resilient through the worst nonsense. Now, of course, if we survive slavery, yeah, we could survive anything, I would think, but at some point in time, I just think life should get easier. And, a lot of that is on us, but I just hate that, you keep enduring this, tough it out. Everything will be okay. It's like, no, that it shouldn't be like this.
I totally agree with you on that. Because why we always gotta just suck it up? No, Houston has dealt with enough adversities in the past to have all our shit in order. That's the way I feel about it. If not, if they don't need to have it in order, it takes me back to point number 1. What the fuck are we sending these people up to Austin for? Why are we sending them up there? This is a part of their jobs. You guys have to clearly understand. You just don't vote a motherfucker in for them to take pictures. They actually have a job to do. And this shows us that they're not doing their jobs. And it needs to be done. White, black politicians, Republican, Democrats, you need to get on your fucking jobs right now.
I mean, yeah, they really do, you know, but they're not going to get on their jobs until we make sure they don't have one, you know, until we stop voting for them and vote for some people who are actually going to help the people, not get in there and enrich themselves and then get up there and make excuses when disasters happen and, you know, just hang in there, tough it out. You know, we've been through worse, and like, who gives a shit? Nobody wants to go through worse. Who wants to go through much worse than, you know, especially in Houston, much worse than you've gone through? You know, I was in California, and luckily I've escaped all of the major disasters. Like if there was a giant earthquake, it happened up north. You know, I didn't live in it. I mean, there was fires by my house, but I didn't live in an area where, you know, the fires just came and completely wiped them out. I didn't live in a major flood zone where there was mudslides. So I was fortunate. But, you know, I just think they really just need to do a better job at fixing these situations. And when you elect people to take on a leadership role, they are supposed to be proactive and not reactive. Like, oh my God, there's a flood or the power went out. No, you're supposed to foresee this stuff as much as you can, so that, like, I understand the power goes out for an hour or two. I give you 3, 4 tops, but a day, a whole day, it's crazy. Now, I know you guys are probably saying, well, your lights are on. They're on now. They weren't on all night. They just came on, you know, what, an hour and a half ago. As you guys can see, I'm dressed like I'm going, you know, to the South Pole. I have to take off some shit.
You know, Jalen and I were saying the same thing. The amount of disasters we've had in Texas should have enough money to have some high-tech shit. But we're living like we're in the Great Recession. And that's what I'm saying. Texas got so much money in the late 80s and stuff, just doing that highway construction and stuff. You guys, I mean, these major cities, LA, New York, Atlanta, all these major cities, these should be some high-tech stuff to be able to deal with any situation that comes out of it, and plus the suburbs.
The only thing high-tech about these motherfuckers is they crookedness. Them some high-tech crooked motherfuckers, man. They making money hand over foot, don't give a damn about us in the process, and we got to suck it up. I'm telling you what it is. And when you try to have a conversation with them, they want to get fly, talking that shit. But I can guarantee you, I elected officials at this moment, I don't think a bunch of them going through what we going through. I don't think, because they become a high priority when this type of shit going. So, you know, I feel for my seniors. I feel for my babies. You know, these are the people that are most vulnerable right now, especially the seniors that live by themselves. And, you know, they done been through some things. So when they mind, oh, we going to be all right, we going to make it. But, dog, with no heat, I don't give a fuck who you is. With no heat, who would give a fuck if it was like this, if we had our lights and our heat? Nobody would give a fuck. We just going to ride this shit out. You see what I'm saying? But without no heat, and it's this cold, it's going to affect a lot of people.
Yeah, and like you said, Gary, you know, unfortunately, and I hate to even say this, but you're going to hear about some senior who froze to death, you know, because they don't have the resources, you know, the lights, or anybody really to even go check on them. We're unfortunately going to hear about families, you know, somebody who then burnt we already saw it on the news. A house done burnt down behind, I think it was like some grill or something. House caught on fire. I mean, so it's more to it than just the lights are out or the electricity is out, you know, and it's cold. If there's actually going to be, you know, a lot of casualties that happen due to this, I would say, avoidable situation. Getting cold should not result in this. It gets cold everywhere. You know, I mean, in California.
Well, see, that's the thing that amazes me, is that in Ohio, Minneapolis, Chicago, they deal with this every single year. But when I'm in, 6-7 inches of snow on the ground outside, They did not lose power. So what are they doing that we are not doing, Donovan?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It isn't like this is some new development that's never happened before. I mean, you got North Dakota, you've got New York, you've got Maine. I mean, these places get subterranean cold, and the power doesn't go out because they've dealt with this for a very long time. So, with all the money that New Orleans, Houston, all this stuff, this grid, they should have been, solve this problem. They could just go up there and get the plan and implement it right then and there, so that you guys don't have this problem again next year. It's not hard at all.
Maybe it's a bigger plot. Katrina, we know they blew the levees in New Orleans. In the state of Texas, you blew the motherfucking lights today. Well, you blew them last night because there's people been without lights since 10 o'clock last night. So the question is what is the big plot on this shit? Now they're gonna tell us, oh, ain't no plot. Man, it's always a plot with you motherfucking people, man. There's always something you got going on, man. Out of all the shit that done happened in Texas. And if you from West Texas, it get cold as fuck. This ain't never happened before. So to me, it's like these bitches wanted it to happen, like they blew them levees in New Orleans. It's like they wanted this shit to happen, man.
And it's funny too, because I saw a news story where, white people were in the snow. I didn't see not one Negro in the snow. They playing. One dude was running around without a shirt on. I'm like, what's wrong with these people? Talk about they don't have any lights.
We the tropical people. We don't gravitate to that shit
at all. I'm like, I can see it outside. It's cute and all of that. I don't really have a desire to go play in it, but it's one thing to me in the daytime. You can feel a little bit more energized because it's lights out, the sun shined a little bit. But now it's dark. Some people are in complete darkness. It's cold. It's just, it's depressing. But it's more so depressing to know that you have leadership that is just like, you'll be okay. Suck it up.
Yep. My girl Jalen again giving us the update. Biden just approved the disaster declaration. Texas is about to get yet another big payout. So to me, I mean, for them to tell you guys, just hang on. It just looks to me like it's just another way to get funds into the state. I mean, I just can't see Texas having that much of incompetent leaders all across that great state. I just can't. I just refuse to believe that.
Well, now people can understand, because there's some people that are not as fortunate as us. There's some people that don't have a house full of food that they can't cook. That's why it was important for Biden to come in, do what he needed to do. They get that money sent out because people could really use that money right now. Those that have wood stoves, those that can actually put wood in their fireplaces. But the problem is that some of them don't have the money. Some of them don't have the money, man. These people got to get on their jobs, man. These people got to get on their jobs, man. And I'm being honest with y'all. Y'all living out in the suburbs, you feeling good, huh? What it feel like being disconnected from the city because you can't get on that road and bring your ass down there. You are isolated. But the good thing about the suburbs, most of them have everything that they need. A lot of that shit just not open today. So, at the end of the day, I think we need to look at our leadership and the fact that these people do not have strategic plans to deal with natural disasters before they occur. They need to have the plans in place before they occur. Because we're not a work in progress with this shit right now. There is no work in progress with this shit right now. In certain neighborhoods like where I'm at, every motherfucking street is pitch black. The jackals finna go on the loose, man. They finna go on the loose. People ain't saying shit about it. You'll know in the morning. And if you think people gonna starve because you motherfuckers is playing and don't want to tell the truth, you remember what happened when the last hurricane came up. They shut down some of your grocery stores because they went in the motherfuckers and got everything they needed. So don't think Home Depot is off limits today, partner. Some generators finna come up missing tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I would just think it'd be too cold, to be out there doing any of that. But shit, people will be creative. But I just want to say more than anything, it's no time for on-the-job training. You can't have an on-the-job training or, we've never been through anything like this before. Let's try to experiment. You're talking about human lives here. You can't experiment with humans. Not like that. I mean, you try to experiment with some animals and see what happens to you. A lot of people won't even buy a product that they experiment on animals, but yet you got a situation here in Texas where this been since 1940 that has been like this, and this has never really happened, and so we're just trying to, you don't try to figure out when you got human life on the line. You should already have that figured out. And so I don't think once this goes away, I don't think people should say, whew, remember the storm of 2021 and it was just horrible. No, I don't think people should have that. I think people should really look at their elected officials differently and say, you were not cut out for the job. You failed your people. Like the cat that's in prison right now was named Ray Nagin in Louisiana behind Katrina. Is he still in prison behind his failed leadership? People go to jail at these major corporations in these states and these cities for failing people. So I think people should really look at the leadership differently. Like, you're a failure that you allowed this to happen to people under your watch, and you shrug it off and say, put on a fucking blanket. It's stupid.
Well, also it goes to show like I said, I agree with everything you just said, but I look at that old saying, if it's broke, not fix it. How the hell do you have a house with a fireplace and you can't use it? That just makes no sense, because I guarantee a lot of you people down in the South, the lights are out, the power's out. But if you can stay in your home and throw the wood in the fireplace and, keep warm, it'd be a lot easier for you to endure what you're enduring. But they've got these homes built. And somebody made in the comment saying that, and of course, Houston does lead the nation in energy. That's where we get our energy from. Houston is the leading source of that. But then you mean to tell me Houston having all of that natural gas, what good is it if the power's out? So we got to rethink and reimagine how we're designing these homes and just the basic stuff in case something like this ever happens. It doesn't make sense to me.
People don't understand that you got to make common sense decisions when you're a politician. Just because that motherfucker got 4 degrees on the wall don't mean he got common sense. He got book sense. And right now you need people that can make common sense decisions. You feel what I'm saying? But we have selective amnesia. We tend to forget, like when the elections come up in November, we're going to forget all this shit that happened in the month of February. And we're going to go right back and put the same people in office again. And then something else happened. We looking at each other, we complaining, we on the war zone. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, you either going to step up to the plate, force these people to do their jobs, or continue to look like idiots.
Yeah, so, my question is, have we had enough? What else will it take, before we say, okay, we gave these people a shot. Let's try something else. And I want to bring it full circle, if you guys don't mind. We got Gary W. Monroe that's running for the school board. Why not try something new? You've tried the leadership that's in there. It doesn't sound like they're doing a bang-up job at all. Why not try something new? Why not try, getting Gary in there and in other, positions in government? Try electing people that you've never tried before. Give them a shot and see if they'll do any better. But you'll never know. Like somebody said when Wendell Champion was on the show, he was running for Sheila Jackson Lee's seat, and he's a Republican, and people were like, "No, he's a Republican," and no, and it's like, what are the Republicans done? And I said, well, how would you know? You won't give them a shot. You keep electing the same old failed leadership for the job, and you keep getting the same results. But then you got somebody who wants to say, hey, I'll do it. At least give me a chance. If you don't like what I'm doing, vote me out next time around. You won't do it. You won't do it. And so at least try something different. Get these same old people who are giving you the same old nothingless results, get them out of office. Give somebody else a shot. I don't understand it. Like, what is it going to take? You've been through, talking about in Houston, you've been through Hurricane Harvey and all the other disasters. Now this, Texas is freaking frozen. This is like Frozen #3 Disney production. Like, what else is it going to take? A firestorm to come through for, shooting out of the gutters. I mean, like, what is it going to take for you to say, okay, let's do something else now?
Well, the thing is if you look out in the community in Houston, you'll get more acclimated with it. The more you hear Demetri, you're going to see the Travis McGee's out there addressing the 89-year-old woman. But every time he run for a position, they don't vote him in. You're going to see the Larry McKenzie's out there right now doing what they do. But every time he run, they won't let him in. We keep putting the same people in, expecting different results, and we're not getting that. As far as me, they don't have to vote me on the school board. But when they start shutting down them motherfucking black high schools, you're going to wish I was on there. See, ain't no way I'm going to be an elected official right now, and I ain't got her doggo on that phone all motherfucking day. Say, ma'am, I don't know what you plan on doing, but you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to do something, or you're going to have to come out your safe haven. Why don't you do your interviews from your house? Maybe you don't have no lights, county judge. Why don't you do them from your living room? Let's see how this shit works. You see what I'm saying? You got to step on these people's toes. But you voters can fix all of these problems by putting the right people in office. You can fix all of these problems by putting the right people in office. But here's the thing, our mamas told us we need to learn the 3 R's, but you got to learn the 3 senses: street sense, book sense, and common sense. Right now, you need an elected official that has common sense. We need some answers. We need to know, how long is this shit going to go on? A realistic answer. It may not be what we want to hear, but we need the truth. Donovan?
As they always say, the truth shall set you free. But again, like I said, it's just amazing how we pay these people's salaries. We do all of this. These are the people that are supposed to be forward thinking and looking out for us and working for us. And yet they fail time and time again in their duties. And yet we keep electing them. We keep putting them. I mean, we reward failure in this country. That is where we're at now. No matter how bad you are, you will be rewarded. You don't want to work? Don't worry. We'll put you on the system or whatever. I mean, it's madness at its highest point. But I just want to say, as we roll out, Al Jackson won't let Demetri leave, and Demetri, I'll be at the airport waiting for you.
All I need is my underwear and toothbrush. I don't need nothing else. I get everything when I get there. Okay. No, but seriously, and in addition to what you said, Gary, about common sense, they need compassion and really think, well, how would I like my mama to be sitting in a house that's now an ice box or the equivalent of a freezer? How would I like my father to not have any electricity or running water or any of that kind of stuff, and then so really act from a point of view of compassion. But they don't do that because they don't ever see themselves in the situation of the people they're supposed to be helping. And the people who send them to office to get results, they never intend on doing that. Once they get in the office, they enrich themselves, they do for themselves. And then, like had this been election season, I guarantee you this shit wouldn't have been going on. It'd have been election season, they might have thought twice. But since all of that is out the way for now, we'll stick it to them and they'll get over it. But they don't rule from a standpoint of compassion at all. Like, and a lot of those people claim to be Christian. And what was that phrase that came out 20 years ago? What would Jesus do? They don't even think of that.
I know what Jesus would do right now. Get him some transportation up to Florida. He wouldn't stay down here. I don't care what they tell me, man. This is I'm a lifelong Houstonian. I've never seen this. I have never seen this. Never. I'm at a loss for words.
Yeah, you know, have some compassion. But yeah, Gary, I've heard other people say, you know, Al said the same thing. He said he's never seen it either. You know, you hear about them shutting down the city and like, really? Wow. And then now you step outside, you're like, yeah, okay, I see why. You know, like I said, we went to the gas station and we couldn't even pull back up into the driveway because it was slippery. So, you know, imagine trying to really go to work or, you know, just go to the store, which the stores are closed to, you know, and they should be. No, nobody should have to go and make sure you can go get your Zuzus and Wham Whams, you know, while you're in the house. They shouldn't be subjected to that either, you know. But
if your lights don't work, you shouldn't either.
Exactly, you know, and don't expect for somebody else to get out there and you know, work for you. Because then once they get off of their ship, they got to try to endure getting home. It's dark now, so you really can't see the ice. You know, it was light when we went out, and I was like, wow, you know, it's really bad and slippery out there. You know, places like Texas, people ain't used to that kind of stuff as you would be in a Michigan or in Alaska, somewhere where they, you know, they got chains on the tires. They're just used to it, right? So I don't know. This is it's beyond maddening, to say the least.
Hey, my girl April says, don't worry, y'all. The liquor store is open. But hey, let's dispel that rumor. If you drink some hard liquor, it's going to lower your body temperature. So please do not do that at this time. And I know you got some young folks in there that think, hey, we'll just have some sex and keep our body heat up. Yes, it'll get your body heat up for 15, 20 minutes, depending on, you know, who you're with. But your body temperature immediately goes cold as the temperature around you.
Let me help you with that one, man, because I'm going to just say it for the ones out there that really want me to say it. It's too cold to be fucking right now, man. It's too motherfucking cold to try to fuck right now, man. These people need to get these motherfucking lights on, man. Because these jackals finna get loose. And if you trying to get some ass, you going to be the one to get got.
Exactly. So, you know, so if you guys are thinking that's your in with that girl you always wanted to get with, it's not going to work. It'll work for 15, 20 minutes and then you'll be asked out. The best thing you can do is bundle up. And a lot of you guys, especially in Houston, there's a lot of military people in there. Remember your military training. So I don't care if you've been out of the military for 30, 40 years or whatever. Just remember your military training. That should get you through at least until tomorrow. And then hopefully you guys will have power back by sometime tonight.
Shit, it's gonna be worse today. It's gonna be double fucked up. This on steroids tonight, dog. Final thoughts, Mr. Demetri. My nerves is bad sitting in this car.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to get worse. Last night, you know, it was bad, but it's going to be twice as cold, if not more than that. But I want to read Cody Richards' comment. How you doing, by the way? He says, I had to set up a wall of blankets in my living room to insulate my living room with heat from a small gas fireplace and candles. I have a wife and an 8-year-old and a 2-year-old daughter. And so those are the things we're talking about right there. People are having to be resourceful to figure out how to stay. And like, it's that serious, you know? And he and his wife, they can make do, but what about their children? What about the 2-year-olds? Like, what the hell is going on here? You know, it's cold and you're trying to do everything, keep your child cold. So there's millions of stories like that. And you have these MFers, I'm trying to be cool, that are telling you to endure. Just hold on. It's like, I'll tell you what you can do with your holding on. But anyway, guys, hopefully tomorrow things will be a lot better. I don't know. We'll see. Gary?
I'm closing it out. It is too cold to be fucking, but it ain't too cold to get you some head. That ain't gonna take as long. And you'll be just fine if you get you some head. And that goes both ways. She needs some head, you need some head. Get you some head and lay your head down. And if you don't, fill up your goddamn car, leave a crack in the fucking window, turn the heat on high, and recline that motherfucker and burn it all out. Burn all the gas out. They can talk that shit all they want, but I'm gonna sit in this bitch like Frosty the Snowman and I'm gonna be good. But I tell y'all what, man, we'll be back tomorrow. Tell your friends tune in. And if they ain't got this shit together, we gonna tear their ass up again. It's the War Zone, the best of the business. My good friend Donovan Sadiq, the Queen Demetra K, and a little Frosty. 5-star, baby. You know how it go down. Until then, we'll holler at y'all.